So every time he just clinched, it would just spray a little mist.
The Mercedes-Benz Interview Lounge.
Hey, it's kind of fun. You know, the room just lifted. It lifted up into the stars because Nurse Blake is here. Did you notice Nurse Blake sneaking in?
Hi, Nurse Blake.
Hello, how's it going?
Do you prefer Nurse Blake or Blake or Nurse?
You know what? However, Blake's fine. Blake's good.
Blake will do. So when we announced that you were coming on the show, I don't know if you can see the screen over there. Scary, show him the text screen. It's over here. It started spinning.
Oh my gosh.
1,000 miles an hour.
Oh yeah. Oh my. That's so cool. You know, nurses are everywhere.
Well, yeah, thank God.
Good point.
I will tell you this. We have a relationship with nurses, unlike any other show in this area anyway. And I'll tell you, when COVID hit, we never took one day off. We were constantly working just like everyone working in hospitals. And nurses and us, we have this relationship. So obviously, with all the nurses listening, when they found out you were coming on, it was like a kaboom. So you were very welcomed here, and you were very loved. We'll start it out with that. Okay?
Aw, thank you guys so much. This is my first live radio interview.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, in studio.
Uh-oh. Well, should we go through the words you cannot use live on the radio?
Sure. Oh my gosh.
We'll say them all, and the interview ends.
So you know what? You're a nurse, and now you're a comedian. And a nurse. Are you still doing all of the above?
I'm doing all the above. Yeah, I pretty much do everything. Yeah, I stay pretty busy. Yeah, so I got into comedy about 4 or 5 years ago, and it's just kind of taken off. And people are like, "Oh, how'd you get so funny?" And I'm like, I think just nurses are funny in general. Like we see life and death, so we have to be funny to get through the shift. You know,
absolutely.
And the word was shift, by the way, to get through the shift. And plus, you see life, you see death, you see icky things, you see sticky things, you see people, people that need baths.
Yeah.
You see it all. But still, I would think that just like teachers have the teacher's lounge, I'm assuming nurses, when you come off the floor and you have your special private area, you guys must just go off. You have to be there for each other, right?
100%. Like you said, we've seen it all. We've smelt it all. We've all been peed on and pooped on. And that's just the job. Yeah. That's what we do. We help people no matter what they need. But a lot of nurses don't have break rooms. So we can't really talk about it in a break room if you didn't know. Or if there is a break room, it's tiny.
You don't have a break room?
That's ridiculous.
And we don't have time for breaks, you guys. Like, we don't.
Wait, they don't give you time for like lunch, like an hour for lunch or nothing?
Lunch? What are you talking about?
Really?
What is a lunch?
Stop it.
And then the doctors and the surgeons get like bunk beds to sleep in.
In a doctor's lounge with meals and food.
That's terrible.
Isn't it wild?
It should be equal.
But, yes. But you do all gather at that center desk on the floor.
Oh, 100%.
Right. It's the same as if you're on a spaceship, it would be the bridge. We'll call it the bridge. Look, being in a hospital is not fun for anyone because you're there and you want to get out, right? But while you're there, if you have a great nurse or great nursing staff, they keep you charged and uplifted. And you're like cheerleaders, but you're also saving lives and keeping people breathing and things like that. So how do you find the humor in that? Where do you dig it up?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think every nurse has their own unique practice and a way to connect with patients. And I think my practice is definitely using humor when I talk with patients. And I think it just helps break the ice a little bit. It makes my patients a little more comfortable with me. And everyone has either been a patient or they know a nurse or they've been in the hospital. So we're all the same, right? Like even though I'm a nurse, I've also been a patient. I've been in the hospital. So it's just that human connection that I think what makes nursing really, really cool and special.
I have someone on line 20, Elizabeth. She texted in earlier. Let's see. Elizabeth, are you on? Are you there?
Oh my God, yeah, I am.
Hi, Elizabeth.
Say hello to Nurse Blake. Blake's right here.
Oh my God, hi, Nurse Blake.
Oh my
Hi,
gosh.
Becky.
Aw, thanks so much. What are you doing, Elizabeth? Are you working?
So, no, it's my day off. I'm actually going to see my horse because, that's what happened during COVID because, being an ICU nurse really, traumatized me. So I got back into what I loved. So.
A horse.
I love that. It's got to be something, right? Me, it's naps. So a horse is more fun.
Wow.
Well, I worked overnight last night.
All right, so you're ready for some horse time. So, Elizabeth, I love that you brought that up, working during COVID, because, like I said, that's how we have met so many incredible people in the nursing world here. Do you remember those days? And those days still are on, and you're still stressed, even though a lot of us have moved on with our lives, right, Elizabeth?
Yeah, of course I remember it because I actually spent the holidays in my hotel room, unfortunately, because I didn't want to get my family sick, especially my father. And I try not to remember those days because, now we have vaccines and, less rates and everything. So I try not to remember those days as much, but hopefully we're going in the right direction.
See, there's something going on here. There's a relationship between Elizabeth and Blake that we probably will never understand, right? And they've never met each other.
Yeah.
But being in that world, Blake, I mean, address that. Seriously.
I feel like I know her, and I want to say happy Friday, but you know what that means for nurses? Absolutely nothing, because we work every day, all day. I heard you just had a shift last night. I also used to work on the night shift, but I do feel like we have a connection. And when I do my show and tour, when I meet other nurses and nurses come out to the show, I feel like we all know each other because we share stories with our friends and family, but they don't get it. Like, they don't get what we see and what we go through. Nope. So it's so special to be able to have like a community of nurses where we get each other.
So, Elizabeth, when you hear Blake doing his conversations, telling his stories, I mean, it must be extremely relatable on such a different level than the rest of us, right?
Yes, I agree. And I do have to say, you guys, I listen to you guys before I go into my job, and it just makes my day 100% better listening to you guys. And you guys don't understand how much of a change you make to all of the nurses out there and all of the people out there. And I just want to say thank you, guys.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. It's good to have Blake on, and we're making it all about us.
Yes.
Really?
Oh my God.
Tell us more.
Yeah, you guys are the real heroes.
I love
Yes.
Yeah,
Get out of here. Elizabeth, we love you. Thank you for coming on with us.
Love you, Elizabeth.
Thank you. I love you, Nurse Blake.
Wait.
Oh, my God.
What's your horse's name?
His name's Cash.
Cash.
Tell
Oh
Cash
my!
we
I
said
could
hi.
use some of that night shift cash.
Hey, it's payday today.
There you go. Thank you so much. Let's play Ask a Nurse. Do you have music for this, Gary? I don't know.
Oh,
so
fun! Ask a nurse.
Ask a nurse anything. Okay, I'll start. Have you ever worked emergency room or just?
I have. I've worked in trauma. Yes, so I've responded to all the codes and everything.
What's the weirdest thing you pulled out of someone's butt? Go.
That's a good question. That was a Febreze can. Yep. It was so literally the note was the patient came in and it smelled like summer breeze.
Oh, that's nice.
And we didn't know what it was until we realized it was in his butt.
How did you realize?
And how did it get up there? Like, how is that possible?
I'm sure
Danielle.
there's tripped and fell.
Does he go
That's what it is.
Nozzle in first or bottom in first?
I think it was the bottom in first. So
Oh
every
my
time
God.
he just clinched, it would just spray a little mist.
All right. I love that we were still on the first question. We have so many follow-ups. Yes, Danielle,
Okay.
ask a nurse.
So I know in some of these doctor shows like Grey's and stuff like this, things happen in like the closet where the mops are, and that's where the doctors do it with each other. Does that really happen?
So I've heard a lot of stories. Maybe I'm just not cool or not hot enough to get all the action, but I hear the hookup stories are real.
Oh.
But, I don't see all these hot people like in Grey's Anatomy.
So you've never made out with a mop in the mop room?
I've never made out with a mop in the mop room, no.
Nurse Blake is here. It's Ask a Nurse. Yes, Gandhi, what's up?
Do you guys have rituals to pump you up and get you going? Because we played Here Comes the Sun as COVID patients were recovering. A lot of people were playing that to, celebrate. But do you guys have stuff that gets you going?
Yeah,
ready for the day?
we cry.
Stuff.
We cry in our car.
That's your soundtrack.
Because our shift is going to be long. We actually jam out to the most inappropriate music, to get us pumped up, or we cry to our family and friends. But, and you're hoping you're working with your work husband or your work wife. So it's very real, like work spouses.
Oh, really?
Like you want to be working with your work buddies. So that'll get you pumped up for sure.
Okay.
Ask a Nurse with Nurse Blake. Yes, straight Nate. What is your question?
I got
You find a microphone. This is how it works. Microphones,
so
yes.
Having been the recipient of a sponge bath, I can say it's not that pleasurable. However, have you ever enjoyed giving a sponge bath?
No comment.
His husband is sitting right
Yeah, my husband is here.
God, Nate.
Why not?
my
But
God.
if he wasn't here, you would answer it. Hello.
Oh, right. Yeah, good point. No, absolutely not. Sponge baths?
Yeah.
Well, at the point that someone's getting a sponge bath, I mean, there's been some stuff cooking for a while.
Yeah.
Oh,
right? So that
for
can't be
sure.
hot.
Oh, you just find things in people's bodies
Oh my
and
gosh.
stuff.
Have
And,
you ever found stuff like in a fat roll?
I mean, just like a chicken wing.
Oh God.
Just like a chicken wing.
And you're not allowed to say, no, I don't want to touch that person, right? You have
Oh,
to.
and that's what, nurses, we care for everybody.
Okay.
We love
Good.
everyone. We want to help everyone in the
Good.
most.
You can't be picky.
You
Yeah.
can't be picky. No, you can't
Yeah.
be. But patients can be picky.
Oh, really?
They could fire you.
Oh, really? Have you ever been fired, Blake?
Yep, because I was too gay.
Really?
Too gay.
Too
So if you were
gay.
just a little gay, it would have been fine?
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
See, I would have you fired because I don't think you're gay enough.
I know, right? And she's like, all you do is you skip in here. It's like,
What do you want me to
maybe
do?
I skip. I don't know.
Happy.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
Oh, my
gosh.
God.
Have you ever purposely gotten yourself fired from a patient?
Ooh, that's a good question. You know what? No, they just fire me before before that. So I have a straight voice now when I'm caring for patients.
Very convincing.
Well, you know what? It's interesting, and thank you for bringing your husband Brett in with you. So, I mean, what's it like being married to a nurse who's also on the road as a comedian? That's got to be a very busy house. I don't mean to put you on the spot, Brett, but I mean that's got to be very busy for you too. What's it like?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, we it's such an adventure. I feel like we're on. I've been with Blake for over 12 years. So before nursing school, before I even knew he wanted to be a nurse, nursing school was crazy. Right, being the spouse of,
Especially when I was on the night shift.
oh my god,
Yeah, I was.
You can say the B word. You're allowed to say that word.
Oh, I can?
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah, that's what it was. So here's the thing about night shift is if you work a night shift and you have the day off the next day, you don't want to waste the day. So you're like, I want to be up at 12. So I tell my husband, babe, can you get me up at 12 and make sure I'm on my feet? Make sure I'm up. Well, he'll sneak in the room and he'll be like, Blake, it's time to wake up, babe. It's time to. And I'm just like, get out of here. I'm trying to sleep. And we don't know we're doing this until we wake up at 6 p.m. and we come out. We're like, babe,
Wow.
I'm so sorry. I was so mean.
And you
least you
wasted the whole
apologize.
day.
You know what? I'm watching these text messages roll by. Nurse Blake, I love your humor and your videos, and you're very famous for your videos, by the way. I've only been a nurse for a year. You got me through nursing school with your videos, and Elvis, I listen to you guys every morning. Blah blah blah. But anyway, nurses and teachers are very familiar. We're hearing this too because we are the best friends with teachers as well.
Yeah.
There's this crazy camaraderie teachers and nurses have, and I'm trying to figure it out. What do you think that is?
It's because we're so awesome, but we don't receive enough support, from our organization. So it's all about really sticking together. And the whole reason why I created my videos is because I was getting burnout as a nurse, had a panic attack. I felt alone in the profession. So I needed an outlet to connect with others. Then I realized no matter where you work as a nurse in Canada, the Philippines, Australia, the US, we all go through the same stuff. And I think teachers also go through the same things. So they're able to relate on so many levels.
Another thing that became very, 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 very apparent during COVID in our relationship with nurses, the importance of nurses as opposed to the importance of doctors. Now, look, doctors extremely important, but doctors are always put on that level. They're always on that pedestal. They have been because of the shows we watch on TV and whatever. But we learned that without the nurses, the doctors really can't doctor. They don't exist. And you are the people who are saving the lives alongside the doctors. It's a partnership, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, but what's it like? Do you ever work with doctors who are just holier than thou? They think they're God's gift to the world, and they think they are God.
Oh, absolutely. Especially in surgery. Oh, yeah. The surgery docs, they just know it all. You are just serving them, there to help them. But I do have to say, being a doctor and a physician, it's very challenging. It's very hard. They go through a lot of the same problems we do in relation to staffing and being overworked. But there is a little level of, I'm better because I went to medical school. But like you said, it's a team. Doctors can do it without us. We couldn't do it out without the doctors. We couldn't do it out with the pharmacy, the techs, the therapists. So it's It's a whole team that cares for the patient. At the end of the day, we're there for a patient, so why not work together?
But when you do skip into the room, and I've been hospitalized several times for various reasons, and it was always you or nurses like you that would come in and just really lift me up. The doctor would come in for like a 3-minute, okay, this is what's killing you. Okay, I got to go by, and they would leave, and you would come in and kind of go, no, you're okay, you're all right. Are we on?
Yeah, we're on.
Yeah, his headphones just went out.
There we go.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, see, we have a nurse that is in charge of headphones.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah, it's Ask a Nurse. Yes, Scary.
Yes, from the text messages. Is there any rivalry between you guys and the physical therapy teams?
Ooh, PT is awesome. They always help us get our patients up. But when you are busy working, especially during the day shift, everyone's coming in with your patient. So many times you go in the room, PT's there, so you have to leave. Then you go back in. Speech therapy's there, then you have to leave, then you go back in, social work's there. So sometimes you can't get a lot done, but we love our therapy. We love our respiratory therapy, our physical therapists. You guys are awesome. We definitely have our each unique specialties that we work in, so...
You know what? We're talking a lot about nurses, but we really haven't talked about the comedy aspect of this, and I want to get into that because you can actually see Nurse Blake in New York City as part of the New York Comedy Festival in November 13th. And also, you're doing NurseCon on one of our ships, Norwegian Pearl.
That's
Did you guys know?
cool.
Oh,
No.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah,
awesome.
we host one of the largest nursing conferences on a cruise ship called NurseCon at Sea.
NurseCon at Sea. If you go to nurseconatsea.com, you can get on this thing. I love this. May I read this? I love this one. The things you do in front of other people. I once had to put a condom catheter on a well-hung man in front of his wife.
You guys know what a condom catheter is?
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's... Yeah, go ahead.
Just picture it. Okay? Right, and it's got to stay on, so it's very sticky.
Ouch.
And
Okay,
a lot of times, if someone's very hairy,
Do you have to shave? Do you have to shave it first?
it is a mess, you guys. So that's what we use for males, our condom catheters, and for females, we use a Pure Wick.
Sounds like a candle.
Isn't that candle?
It does sound like a candle. It's an external female catheter device that we use. I could go into detail after the show.
I mean, question, how can you not find humor in this?
I know.
Hello?
Right.
Can I say one thing? Like when my dad was in the hospital, it was the nurses that kept the family going as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because you're going through so much stress and you don't know what's going on. And sometimes it's very hard to get the doctor and blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
And the nurse will get you whatever you need, help you out, give you a hug if you need it, just be there to talk to you. And it meant the world to us that my dad had such great nurses. So.
I love that. And my husband would say that, to family and friends, we're not the best nurses because like whenever Brett gets the freaking man flu, it's just the end of the world.
Right.
And he goes, I'm not feeling good. I'm like, listen, babe, if you got a pulse, if you're breathing, you're talking, you're fine. Like, I'm a critical care nurse. Like, you must be bleeding out for me to give you service. Like, we don't do sniffles here. We don't do stomach aches here.
Yeah, you don't want to take that home. Sorry, this is not a hospital. This is our home. Shape up.
Oh, my gosh.
Hey, okay, back to the fun. Your videos are hilarious. And I'm assuming you get requests when you're... And we talked to a lot of comedians about this. When you're on stage doing your thing, like, hey, do the bit about human poop,
Oh God.
And they're like, well, that's okay. We're taking requests. I mean, do you get more response out of some of your videos and some of your topics than others?
Yeah, totally. There's a lot of people are like, oh, he's a nurse. He's probably going to talk about poop. Absolutely. I'm going to talk about it. And one of the jokes I always get requested is the Flexi Seal. Do you guys know what a Flexi Seal is?
No.
Well, a Flexi Seal is a poop tube.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. And what we do is if a patient has a lot of like liquid loose stool, we put in this tube, we fill it up with air so it doesn't fall out. And one of the patients I had, she pulled out her Flexi Seal.
No.
She held it up in the air
No.
and she just had a party.
Oh my God.
She just swang it around, and you guys, it was going everywhere.
All of the walls and the ceiling and all the equipment and everything?
Everywhere.
Do you have to clean that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, how are
Gotta
you doing
clean
over
itself.
there? How's everyone doing?
I'm picturing it. It's making me want to puke. Gross. I'm sorry that happened to you.
You need an emesis bag.
Okay.
Yep, so you can just speak in that. Yeah.
I would have quit. I could not handle this. I would be done.
Right.
I could
You
not
guys
do
have
it.
all these contraptions we've never heard of. Have you heard of any of these things?
No.
No. Nor would I have ever thought to party with one of them.
Well, next time I'll bring all these items so I can show you guys. Yes,
I want to
fun.
demonstrate. All right, what other things do they love to hear you talk about? The relatable stuff, especially nurses.
Oh, that's a good question. They love to hear me talk about working on the night shift. Working on the night shift, it's so hard and challenging. But let me tell you, when you work the night shift, you do get a little shift differential.
Oh, yeah.
So you get paid a few extra dollars an hour,
okay,
right?
that's good.
And that's the difference between just eating toast with butter and avocado toast.
Ooh.
Okay? Right? That's the difference between being able to shop at Nordstrom versus Nordstrom Rack. Okay? It's the shift differential.
I like the rack better.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. But night shifters, we love it.
Does the crazier stuff happen on the night shift, like the poo party?
Oh, Friday the 13th, full moon, you want to call off.
Really?
You do not want to work.
Do more babies really happen on like those crazy
It does,
nights?
yes.
Wow.
It really
It's
does.
funny you brought that up, Blake. We talk about the full moon shifts all the time on the show because a lot of people, when we start at 6 a.m., are getting off the shift, right? And if it's a full moon, that's when all the good stories come in. And so for a fact, as you sit here, Blake, that the full moon is controlling us at all times.
And I don't want to work a full moon. You will not catch me working Friday the 13th or a full moon. I always look at that calendar and I will switch with someone. I will take it off. Yeah, absolutely.
What about Friday the 13th on a full moon?
Oh, absolutely not. You better be paying double time, that overtime pay.
Well, you know what? Look, if you want to see Nurse Blake in action, of course, the videos are all there. I mean, you have how many videos do you have up there? You have a lot.
I have so many. I've been making videos for about 5 years. And it's so cool because, what I realize is nurses also want to hang out in groups. So my videos translate to the stage. And what's so cool is nurses in groups of 30 will get on a party bus and come to my show and just have the best time ever. So I just love seeing all the nurses get together at the shows.
And what's great about what you do, Nurse Blake, back to Nurse Blake, your title, is you are, of course, a part of the nursing community and you're so relatable to them, but also those of us who have no clue of what you guys know about. It's interesting to us as well. And I think you got it going on.
Is there one thing you want to tell people, though, as far as being a nurse?
Yeah.
And if you're talking to patients, one thing you would want them to know to make your life easier?
Yeah, I would just say that, nurses right now, we're overworked. We are extremely short-staffed. And as nurses, we got into this practice and profession to really be there for our patients. And unfortunately, in today's healthcare world and environment, we can't always be there. And just know that crushes us to no end. But it is time for hospitals to step up and make sure nurses are fully staffed. Because really, like, you work in med surg unit, you should only have, 4 or 5 patients. We're getting 8.
Wow.
We're getting 8. How can we provide safe care? So just know we're always here for you. And that's why we got into nursing in the first place.
Blake, before and after COVID, your thoughts about nursing and what it means to you. Did the pandemic truly change and shift your feelings about what you do?
Yeah, I did. I think it changed and shifted feelings about my life too, because as a nurse, and I realized caring for patients and through COVID that, we only live once and that in nursing, it's a very serious professional practice, but we also have to have fun too. We have to have fun with our patients. We have to have fun with each other. And we have to support one another, especially just like teachers and nurses. And so by doing these shows and doing these events, that's my way to give back and support, the healthcare heroes out there.
And you are a hero. Thank you, Blake. Again, NurseCon is going on Norwegian Pearl. If you go to NurseCon, what's the website?
@c.com.
NurseCon@c.com if you want to hop on board. Also, as part of the New York Comedy Festival, which is every year, you'll be November 13th at Town Hall. If you just do a quick search on New York Comedy Festival, you've got to go see Nurse Blake, nurse or not.
Yeah.
He makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Quickly, you used to work in Magic Kingdom?
Yep.
What'd you do there?
So I can't really say, but I could say I was friends with Peter Pan.
Shut up!
I was. Not Tinkerbell. I was more, into Captain Hook. You know what I mean? I brought you guys gifts. I brought you guys hats and my children's book. I want to be a nurse when I grow up. So.
Wait.
So cool.
No, wait. How long has your book been out?
Since May. And what I think is so cool is that I could do a show that's for adults like 18 and up, but at the same time, they're also buying my children's book and they're able to connect with their kids about what it's like to be a nurse.
And what is it called again? I want everyone to go search on it on Amazon for this.
I want to be a nurse when I grow up.
I want to be a nurse when I grow up. How fun.
So
You're such a
cool.
great guy. To you and Brett, thank you. You guys, thank you so much for coming in today.
I hope you don't get sniffles, Brett.
Oh, I
sorry.
Because you're not getting help.
You're on your own.
You're on your own. Nurse Blake, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
The Mercedes-Benz Interview Lounge.